This is the first Telecaster that I've bought. It was designed by a Fender custom shop master builder and it sold for less than $1,000. And when I first heard about it, I knew I wanted one. But after a couple of hours playing it, I wanted to send it back. Today, 20 years later, it's still the only Tele I've ever owned. But I haven't played it for a couple of years now, so it needs a setup. And I thought while I'm doing this, I tell you all about it. Before I tell you why I almost sent it back, let me get the strings off. Well, when I got the guitar, I was used to playing humbucker guitars. I had the Les Paul, a Les Paul Studio, and I think a Squier with humbuckers. I had a single coil guitar, at least I used to borrow one from a friend of mine. But that was a Strat, and with those guitars I basically just put distortion over distortion. So the sound was pretty heavy, I would say. And when I played the Tele with the same setup, it sounded like shit. It sounded not good, which you can probably imagine. But I had no idea back then. Yeah, so I almost wanted to send it back because I thought I have no use for a guitar like that. That was the first time that I noticed that different guitars actually sound different. But after a while of playing it and getting to know the guitar, I noticed what probably many of you know about the Telecaster, right? Which is its amazing clean sound and the twang that only a Tele can give you. And I fell in love with that sound. And also my style of playing changed because of this guitar. Look, I even have I even kept the plastic cover. I have changed the strings over the years. But for some reason I kept this. So let's get the strings out. Yeah, so basically my playing style changed, and I think it was back then probably with a little help of this guitar when I finally discovered the mighty blues. So this guitar influenced me quite a bit, which is part of its story. But it's not the only reason why it's, for me, this is a significant guitar. It is significant, or it's important, because it was the last guitar that I bought for many, many years. This was, I won't say the end of an era, but this guitar marked a very important chapter in my life. So yeah, I actually never liked the look of a Telecaster. I always found the look weird for whatever reason. But just like the sound, the design grew on me over time. And now I love it. But yeah, for some reason I always found it's one of the most ugliest guitars that I've ever seen when I was younger. So which direction do I do this? Yeah, I think ooh, that's probably not a good idea. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's a better fit. The last, or the only time that this guitar had a setup was when I lived in New York for, I don't know, that's probably 5 or 6 years ago. And the guy who did the setup messed up the neck. So the neck is not straight, which means the high E string is almost running out of fretboard. This is something that I want to fix today. And also the action was when I got it back was as high as the Empire State Building. So let's see if we can wiggle the neck. Not really, so I have to take off the whole neck. And here you can also already see why this guitar is special. Do you see the plate? It says Fender Custom Shop Designed. The interesting thing about this guitar, it is a made in Mexico guitar. It's called the Fender Baja. Baja like in Baja, Mexico, right? Yeah, Baja, Mexico. This guitar was designed by a custom shop master builder, by Fleming. And the idea was to make a 50s style Telecaster, but with modern applications. And
the Baja Tele concept happened 7 or 8 years ago, and the idea was to do a classic player version of a Telecaster that I made in the custom shop a lot, which was a 50s version with a special neck shape and a special set of pickups, and it proved to be a very popular instrument.
I read about this guitar because, remember, the guitar was made in 2006, and in 2006 YouTube was in its infancy, so there were no guitar reviews or things like that. What I did, and probably most of you back then, was reading the news about guitars in guitar magazines. And I'm talking about guitar magazines, not the other magazines that we used to read back then.
Ooh la la! Ooh la la!
I read about the guitar in a guitar magazine, and that's the reason why I bought it. So it's basically custom shop designed, made in Mexico, with a lot of the applications that people back then wanted from the custom shop. So if, for example, it has this is a baseball neck, like literally. So it's chunky, but it has a V shape. And for those of you who know, you know a V shape is a very comfortable neck, even though it's chunky. But the V makes it a joy to play. It has custom shop pickups in it. So this is a twisted Tele, and in the bridge we have a Broadcaster custom shop pickup. It also has the vintage brass saddles, and it has a 4-way blade switch and a phase button. It's really versatile, but I think the most impressive thing about the guitar is the sound. It just sounds amazing. So let me see if I can straighten out this neck. So what is it? Right, tight, left, loose. Ooh. So what I'm doing now, or what I'm trying to do, is to get the neck straight as good as I can. And that is as straight as it can get. I will put it back on the body, and then I will see if we have some high frets. And if we have some high frets, I can only hammer it down, because I'm not able to do a fret job. I don't have the tools, and I don't really dare to try that. Yeah, because I'm a fucking idiot. I should put the back plate on before I put the screws in, right? Please do not try at home. Let me know if I'm doing anything wrong. Please write it in the comments. Don't worry, it's all good. This seems wrong. I won't clean the brass saddles because they have a very nice patina. And I've heard there's some crazy people out there who are paying tons of money for new guitars that are made to look old for some reason. Okay, what is it? The 4th fret is high. I know I shouldn't. I should be very careful with a lacquered maple fretboard, but what's the worst that can happen, right? It's not perfect, but it's better. I'll give it one more round. Was this the right fret? Yeah. Maybe a bit more force. I think I'm gonna cut this part out or we'll get death threats, probably. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So what have I done? So I straightened out the neck. I've checked the frets with this fret rocker from Crimson, I think. And I hammered in some of the frets. I know this is a sin to do this on a maple neck that is finished with a poly finish, because you can crack the finish. So be careful and don't do what I do. But it went pretty smooth. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. I haven't destroyed the lacquer, which is good. So while I'm cleaning the guitar, and I'm using this special cleaner for guitars, it's a poly finish. You can shoot the guitar with a gun. It will not affect the finish. It has a poly finish and the color is called Desert Sand. That's the only thing that I don't like about the guitar. I would prefer to have a nitro finish because I like the way the nitro ages with you and tells a story, which poly, don't really does, because it's such a strong finish. And as you can see, this guitar is 20 years old and it looks brand new. I mean, there's also a reason why it looks brand new. It's not just because of the poly finish. I haven't played it a lot, and I might tell you a bit more about that reason at the end of the video. It's not because the guitar is bad or anything. It's a different story. But I haven't played it a lot. I see it has one little ding here and one little scratch, but it's in better condition than most of the Gibsons that I bought new. Also, you saw this funny pickguard. That was of course not the pickguard the guitar came with. This was the original one. I always liked the mint one, but I think it doesn't really fit the Desert Storm finish. The Desert Storm finish. I also have a tortoise shell. What do you think? This looks like a retiring home. Gives me that kind of vibes, right? With this beige color. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. I think I stick with this one. I think it's unique. So to polish the frets, I use this what is it, Music Nomad fret polish kit. And if you've never done that, it makes a huge difference, but most of you probably know that. This is just a polishing paste. Just takes a teeny tiny bit and you just go over it like this a couple of times. Can you see the difference? Look at this. Maybe that's a good time to give you a quick update about the channel. let's call it channel for now. I've made a poll on what topics you would like to see next, because as I said many times, I haven't planned to make a YouTube channel out of this thing. The idea was, the initial idea was just to do the Gibson thing and share that. And I said that in many comments that I've answered. I really enjoyed the process of making the videos and talking to you guys in the comments, and that's why I decided to make part 3 with the Gibson custom shop. This is just something that I wanted to do anyway, and I thought, well, it could be something new to try out, because I have a bigger project coming up, but I had to order a couple of things for that. So there will be another video where we will look at new guitars. In the meantime, I will try out different things as well, but there will be comparisons and reviews just like the Gibson series. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see. It's always good to know what people will actually watch. So, and that's it. Look at this. Beautiful. Let me tell you about the electronics of this guitar. That's a little bit different than what you I can't say this fucking sentence. That's a little bit different than what you would expect from a 50s Telecaster. It has a 4-position switch. Position 1 is the bridge. Position 2 is bridge and neck parallel. Position 3 is just the neck. Position 4 is the bridge and neck in series. Then if you engage the button here, position 1 is still just a bridge. Position 2 is bridge and neck out of phase. So it's basically an out of phase switch. Position 3 is just a neck again. And you guessed it, position 4 is bridge and neck in series out of phase. So you can get a lot of sounds out of this guitar. Yeah. My dog is having a fight with the neighbor dogs.
Cut! Hey, Arnold, I'm hearing Neighbah. It's neighbor.
That's what I said. Neighbah.
Chewy, come here. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, yes. Tasha. Look. Good boy. Brav, yeah. Brav. Okay. Of course, there's no need to oil the fretboard since it's a finished maple fretboard. So I'm just going over with a damp cloth. And then we should be good. Okay, let's put on some new strings. I'm using the Darios. These are the coated ones. 10 to 46. I'm not sponsored yet. No, but those are the strings that I use. Let me know what you use. I mean, I've just tried a couple of different strings and I stick with those because they're just holding up longer. I'm not sure if they are the best sounding ones, but yeah, it's whatever. So another thing, I mean, this, as I told you, this guitar is 20 years old now. Back then I've paid, I think, 700 euros, which is, I think it was 750 to 800 bucks in US dollars when it was released. I did some research, of course, and yesterday I found there are still, you can still get used ones for not a crazy amount of money. I think it was like $1,000 or something, so they've gone up in price, but for what you get, still a great Telecaster. And I said at the beginning, it's the only Telecaster that I ever had. So it's the first one and the only one I ever had. And the reason for that is, of course, I've tried different ones over the years, but I never found the need to replace this. It does everything that a Tele should do, and even more, because of the different options you have. I still like the way it looks, so it's kind of, yeah, I haven't found a reason to replace it or to add another one. It's like the origin story of the Telecaster. They somehow did it right the first time. I somehow picked the right one the first time. Yeah, let's give it some new strings. Relax, I know I'm doing one string at a time and I could string through all of them at once, but that's the way I'm doing it. So yeah. And I already can see that the neck is not aligned. So we'll have to loosen the screws and give it a little push, and hopefully it goes back, it straightens out. Let's see. I put on the rest of the strings and I will be right back. Okay, just a quick update. I put all the strings on, but for some reason I cannot get the neck straight, as you can see. So I tried to loosen the neck and tried to push the neck towards this way, that way. But whenever I'm tightening the screws, it's the same thing. Could probably be the bridge, but I'm not sure. But the good thing is I have a neighbor.
What?
Now what?
It's Neighbah.
Neighbah!
Who's a friend of mine who builds guitars, especially Tele bodies, Telecasters, and offset Fenders. No S styles, thank God. But I'm pretty sure he can figure it out within a couple of seconds. And for me it will take hours. I will be back as soon as I've contacted my neighbor.
Neighbah!
And I hope he can help me out. I'll let you know. Probably come back tomorrow. It's the next day and the guitar is done. I was able to fix the issue with the neck, as you probably can see here on the video. I asked my neighbor for help. And he just told me I should manhandle the neck back into place, which I did, and that did the trick actually. So the strings are now running straight, more or less straight down the neck, which is good. I checked the nut, and here are the bad news. Remember when I told you the guy in New York set up the action as high as the Empire State Building? The reason for that was probably because he messed up the nut. So the nut slots are cut way too low. So you get some buzz on some of the strings. So the action that I set the guitar to is medium low. And that's what I usually do with my guitars, and it works fine. But here I'm getting some open string buzz. But I guess I will just have to exchange the nut, and I will let this do a professional. I never understood the measurements after inch, because I'm from Europe and we use millimeters, and I never understood why the Americans, and I know 80% of you are Americans, so no offense, but if you have a measurement that is like this big and you have nothing under that, that's weird to me. So I don't know what it means, but what I set up the guitar is the low E string to 0.06, whatever that is in inches, and the high E to about 0.05, sorry. I adjusted the intonation as good as possible with a 3-saddle bridge. And yeah, everything is more or less fine. I also used some lube for the nut, also from Music Nomad, you know, to lubricate the nut and the saddles, basically all the contact points for the strings. And that's about it. I mean, I think it came out pretty good. I will play it a little bit, but I think, yeah. Here you can hear the open string bass. Of course, I could get the action higher, but I think I will just have the nut replaced. Another thing that I found out since yesterday is that the Baja, this model, was the first one that they made, the 50s one. And then a couple of years later, they made also a 60s version. And I think they produced it until 2018. As the situation is with Fender right now, you can probably get a good deal on used ones. And if you get the chance, try it out. I think it's probably one of the best Teles that you can get for the price. I highly recommend it. And this is also the reason why I never had the urge to replace it, because it was always fantastic. And yeah, try one out. And if you have one, let me know what you think. Yeah, one more thing. I told you at the beginning that this guitar marked a turning point for me in my life. That was back in 2006. So if I remember correctly, back then I had about 6 more good years left until everything changed for me. But that's a story for another time. So thanks for watching and take care. Years ago. I wonder what I was doing 20 years ago.
I don't wanna change the world. I'm not looking for New England. Just looking for another girl. Just looking for another girl. For another girl.